Hey y'all, hey, it is Friday, February 7th, National Wear Red Day for Women's Health, and your girl will always be celebrating this day because my heart health this time last year was questionable. Story time on a 38-year-old having a heart attack and later diagnosed with Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, also known as broken heart syndrome, and only 0.02% of Americans, mostly women, get this disease. It is on a rise, probably due to a very stressful work environment and workplace and a toxic environment as far as the society. But yeah, that's what your girl was diagnosed with on February 23rd. It was a Friday. The heart attack, it was on Wednesday. I was going to work to pick up, actually I was at work, picking up my monitors from previously approved job accommodations to work from home, and I couldn't breathe. I thought it was asthma, so I'm hitting my inhaler, and I'm like, it's not working, to the point where I decided to walk across the building and ask the girl who walked in with me, because it was like 7:24 in the morning. So we were like really the only ones there. I had came in an hour early to get my monitors. I was supposed to start working till 8:30. I had texted an antagonistic coworker turned interim supervisor that this is what I was doing because she's Petty LaBelle. And part of the reason, actually the reason, her and the other supervisor who went from being my unit director to section director. Just Petty LaBelle's antagonistic, using my direct reports to antagonize me, trying to make me do things that was not in my role, like literally could not do. And baby, if I could have did, I would have did it because I hate waiting on people. But yeah, I walked across the thing to ask one of my coworkers to come walk with me to my car as I'm putting up my monitors because your girl couldn't breathe. And as soon as I pick up a monitor, put it in the back of my car, I had to sit down. Like I just could not catch a breath. So the girl who I was with, shout out to Barbara, she was like, yeah, sit down in your car. I put everything up for you. I went and sat in the driver's seat and I text that antagonistic coworker turned interim supervisor like, hey, I can't breathe. My inhaler's not working. I'm going to go to urgent care. And this was like 8 o'clock. So go to urgent care. It don't open till 9. Go to total care for men. Didn't know it was for men, by the way. My PCP tells me this on March 6th. But I go to total care and I'm like, hey, can someone help me? I can't breathe. I think it's my asthma. And the woman's like, the urgent care is across the street. The front desk lady. I'm like, baby, I know. I went there. They don't open till 9. Can I, a nurse or a doctor here? And she was like giving me directions. And when I reiterated, like, it doesn't open till 9, I was just there. She was like, well, you can sit here and wait until it opens. So here I am sitting in this waiting room and a nurse walked past and she can hear my labored breathing. And she's like, what's wrong with her? And the lady was like, oh, she's waiting for urgent care to open. Oh, baby, that burnt my biscuits. So I was super annoyed. I got up. At this time, I am holding onto the wall. I'm so dizzy and short of breath. So I also had my inhaler with me. I probably at this time had hit on my inhaler like 4 times. Make it to my car and thought, my PCP is right down the street. Let me call them, see if they can squeeze me in or a telehealth appointment because this albuterol ain't working. And as I'm on the phone with the nurse, she sends me to the triage nurse because she's like, you're breathing. I don't like it. And by this time, I pull out, I'm about to go across the street, and I'm like, it's 20 minutes till 9. I'm about to wait. Like, yeah, it's 20 minutes till 9. I'm about to wait until this urgent care opens to sit in the parking lot if they don't have an appointment for me. But I get on the phone with the triage nurse, and the triage nurse says, you're breathing. I don't like it. Promise me you're going to hang up and call 911. Baby, what? Oh, let me turn left because I'm 1 block from home. And so I call 911. I pull up to my parking spot. Fire department comes out. Blood pressure, oxygen, EKG, normal. EMT comes out. Blood pressure, oxygen, EKG, normal. But we don't like the way you're breathing. So let's just go to the ER and get you checked out. Cool beans. We're in the ambulance. Like, he loads me up. I remember taking a picture. It's like 9:40, I think. I'm taking a picture of my feet in the ambulance, sending it to that antagonistic coworker, letting her know I'm not coming in today. I'm going to the ER. And me and one of the ambulance workers, EMTs, we're laughing, we're joking. And I remember telling him, stop making me laugh. You're going to make me pee on myself. I got to pee. And by this time, we come from the back of the apartment complex where I stayed to like the front, and the blinker is on. And he was like, okay, I'm going to hit you with some Zofran. We're going to get you. Because he was like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not. You know, I'm just a little nauseous, dizzy. He was like, okay, well, I'm about to hit you with the Zofran or whatever. So I went from laughing, him injecting the Zofran, to like the most burning pain sensation in my chest, squeezing the light. I couldn't get a breath in. It burnt. It's like sciatic pain, nerve pain. Like, it burnt all the way up through my neck and my chin. Then it went down my left arm, my right arm, down my stomach. Like, in that, just like that, I felt it that direction. And I peed on myself. Stress incontinence. Machines were going off. He's hitting the front. The lady like comes back there, and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I hurt, because I had an oxygen mask on, and I pulled it with my right hand. I'm like, I hurt. That's exactly how I said it. And he was like, where? And with my left hand, I hit my chest. And so they're doing things, trying to take my blood pressure, all this kind of stuff. Next thing you know, I see white. Didn't know I had passed out. I saw white. Now, I've passed out before in 2019 when I was exercising on keto. And yeah, I've passed out trying to do a fasted workout. And I saw black when I passed out. Came to immediately. And I was alone. I lived by myself. But this time, I saw white. And I woke up to this man knuckling my chest. And he's like, you got to stay with me. You got to stay with me. And I'm like, I'm about to die. Like, I'm literally saying that. He's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I was like, I'm dying. And he's like, no, you're not going to die. And so I'm giving him the passcode to my phone and telling him my mom's name and even my pastor's name. Like, call somebody in my phone, because, you know, I thought I was dead to the bed, literally. So as this is going on, we're ripping down the road. I hear the, sirens and everything. And we make it to the hospital, and they're cutting the clothes off of me and everything. And this guy, he's saying, the EMT, he's like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, she was normal silence, normal rhythm. And then she went tachycardic, and she went out. She went out for a moment. I had to push her around an epi, and my mind is really like, what did he just say? Because in the toxic work atmosphere that I was in, I was taking off 2 to 3 days out of the week. Like, yes, it was sick leave as far as like allergy stuff, but I'm also sick and tired of y'all. And stress does not help when you're sick. So even like the job accommodations thing, I got that without having to have a doctor's excuse, but my anesthesiologist and my PCP knew what I was going on, and my therapist knew what was going on. Baby, I would have got that anyways. Like, even if you required a doctor's note or something, they were very supportive of me. Even my PCP was like, you ain't quit that job yet? My therapist would tell me to quit all the time. She's like, Jacole, you're a smart girl. You can find another job. But I did not want to quit without having another job. So fast forward back to, in the ER, and they're cutting all these clothes off of me, and they're saying this, that, and the third. She had an in-STEMI. Baby, I don't know what that jargon is. Like, did I have a heart attack or did I have in-STEMI? Little did I know, in-STEMI is a heart attack. It's a non-ST elevated myocardial infarction. That's what it stands for. And they're trying to figure out how a 38-year-old girl with no high blood pressure, that's all they could take right there, and had a regular EKG before, had a heart attack. So fast forward to like later on that day, the hospitalist comes to me. He's like, hey, do you do drugs? And I was so offended. I was say, do you, like, excuse you? And I told him, I'm like, I'm allergic to everything. I can't even smoke. Like, I can't smoke a chicken. Like, the only drug I do is food. He's like, what do you mean like that? I was like, look at me. Like, my only addiction is to food. Like, nah, I don't do drugs. And he was like, well, I'm trying to figure out how, we're trying to figure out how your troponin level when you came in was 200. And now it's off the charts. It's 2,900. That's the highest we can measure. Baby, I don't know what to tell you. You the doctor. And he's like, do you have a history in your family of heart disease, blah, 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 heart attacks at such a young age, under 50? No, not that I know of. And so he's going through these questions and he's really annoying me. And I'm already annoyed because I don't know what's going on. I just know it's my heart. At first they thought there was like something wrong with the electricity in my heart. They wouldn't let me eat anything or drink anything. So I would ask for ice and like let it melt and drink the water. And then they came and took that because, you know, they clocked me. I was singing Tasha Cobbs in the hospital because, you know, here's my worship, Lord. The devil trying to take something, but you ain't gonna take my worship. And I was like, when I get out of here, I'm gonna dance like David. And I meant it. It just took longer than I thought. But finally got a room at like 5 something. And I was fasting and praying at that time. But I had not knew I was going to be fasting for like 24 hours. I was famished. I didn't even get anything until like 6:30 because it took like 90 minutes for your food to come. And then the next day, on the 22nd, when all the cellular service was down and I could only use Wi-Fi, the hospital's Wi-Fi, I had an ultrasound. It sounded like a wet flip-flop in water. I knew that wasn't good. And then they were like, oh, you're going to get a heart cath. So yeah, that was right after the EKG. And I was so salty too because I had ordered a veggie omelet and it had came right before the heart ultrasound person came. And then I didn't want to like eat while this woman is all up under my left boob and stuff. So I didn't eat it. And then like right after they're like, you can't eat nothing because you're going to get a heart cath. And I'm like, baby, what? And then I even told the cardiologist, I was like, listen, I want my omelet. I want to eat my omelet. Can this wait? She was like, if we don't do it by 12 o'clock, I'll come back and I'll tell you you can eat your omelet. Them people didn't take me down to 2:44. 2:44 p.m. Thank God it was an a.m. But I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't have my ice because they had clocked my game that I was going to drink the water. So all I could do was chew gum. Then the phlebotomist came in because she heard I was a heart stick, and you know they love heart sticks. I'm not a heart stick, baby. It's just that both of my good, like easy veins were taken because I had 2 IVs, heparin in one arm, saline in another. So she came to tap, you know, the light skin blue, but you know they look pretty, but they ain't easy to tap. She got me in one try with a butterfly needle. She was the sweetest thing ever. And she prophesied with me and prayed with me. She was like, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities. And I really needed that because I knew in my spirit that something was going on because of the petty labels that I work with, the antagonistic coworker and the gaslighting supervisor who allowed this girl to be antagonistic towards me. Not just after me complaining about how she treats Black women on January 3rd and January 26th, but also just throughout the whole time that I was there. Like, that girl would pick on me. She would pick on other people. And our supervisor would just laugh at it. She would call my project officer, she's an N-word and claimed she meant Nazi. She referred to Black women, my 2 direct reports, that all Black women look the same. And I would tell her she's being a colorist, stop talking. And all of this was done in front of my supervisor. And she did nothing to this girl. Another director told me referring to my project officer as the N-word was a fireable offense. And she did it right in front of our supervisor. The girl was not only not she fired, but she was promoted 3 months later. Do you hear me? And even though I knew in my spirit it was because of them, I had like, it didn't hit me. You know, it's like, you know, it's sunny outside, but you don't feel the sun until you actually go outside. I didn't feel it until after I got my heart cath, and they were like, no block, not they, Dr. McKay, no blockages. He just like walked off, and I was like, oh, can we have a conversation? Like, can you tell me what my ultrasound was? I didn't even learn the results of my ultrasound until I ear hosted from the nurses the next day from rounds. But I will say, another nurse was like, I will tell you it was not normal. I'm not supposed to tell you this. Only doctors can give diagnoses, but it was not normal. So also they left me in a hospital bed, unaccompanied, with no call button for 15 minutes. And baby, I got out that 4-poster bed with 2 IVs in my arm, because that's not what we doing after the heart cath. And it's good that I did, because the lady, my nurse, went to go discharge somebody. And so the other nurse who I went to get, she comes back and she noticed that blood was pooling underneath my arm, my ulna, whatever, from the heart cath. And they had to like massage it every 2 hours, or it would pull up and could possibly burst in your skin. Yeah, I had a big old bruise from my wrist to my elbow, or almost to my elbow. It was ugly. And heart cath hurts, baby. I felt that 3 days afterwards. Thinking about it, I feel it now. Fast forward to like, yeah, day 3, nurses rounds. They're like, she has Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. I'm sorry, what? Can you restate what you just said and tell me how to spell that? And she told me how to spell it. And baby, I just started crying. It's called heartbreak syndrome. Only 0.02% of Americans get it. Mostly women. And ironically enough, when I was watching ER on those multiple days that I would take off, I did see a woman who had a heart attack from heartbreak syndrome because her husband had passed. But I did not know that cortisol could stretch your heart that way. And I remember my trainer, I started working with him on February 22nd before I was promoted to the toxic role on May 16th of 2022. I started working with my trainer April 2022, not February, April 2022. And so he was like, he had been there through all of it. And he was like, Jacole, we got to talk. And I'm thinking, he's saying this January of 2023. And I'm thinking he's gonna get on to me because I haven't lost any weight. And he was like, we got to talk about your job. Like, your job is so stressful. The cortisol that you have, you're not going to lose any weight. Like, he would get on to me about fasting, that I need to stop because I didn't get enough calories in. He knew I was working out and stuff. And so he was just like, baby, the way your job is going, it's only going to get worse. You need to quit. And I wish I would have took heed January 2023. Instead, it took a heart attack for me to be like, okay, God, I trust you. I trust you, Lord. Because when I tell you God provided for me, even after I quit without another job offer, he made a way. And I think that's what he wanted in the first place, was for me to trust him, not the heart attack. He just used it for his glory. But just because I learned how I was able to trust him, because I couldn't hold on to that anymore. It was killing me, literally. Even when I came back after my FMLA, it was killing me. To the point where, like, I did have like this incident, and I should have went to the ER because my chest hurt, because this person was just super heady, and I was trying not to go there. And people think because you are a Christian, because you profess God, that Jesus, that you're not about that life. And it was a constant struggle with me, because I wanted to cuss her out. As a matter of fact, the day when I took back my equipment, I went by her office 3 times. And she wasn't in there any of those times. I waited. I was ready to read her for filth. I don't need to cuss you out to make you feel small. I was ready. And God made sure the helper was not in her office. Evil little wench. Sorry, not sorry. She's evil. Like, evil to the point where 3 managers left because of her, including myself. 1 threatened to leave, and then they allowed that person to work from home, but won't allow anybody else to work from home. And guess what color that person is? And I like that person. But it is racial discrimination when you allow 1 person to work from home of the major race and not the others. And there was a meeting where they complained about it. Like, this Hispanic dude and a black dude was complaining that me and this other girl was working from home. Now, I had a job accommodations, which the evil little antagonistic turned interim supervisor tried to take claiming, she tried to fight it when I came back because I had filed a civil rights complaint against her. And she was like, well, I thought, and other admin was messaging me like, oh, she's big upset that you're not in the office on your day, blah, 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 blah. Baby, she better go check that email from February 14th where I got approved from EEOC to a civil rights office to work from home for my job accommodations that she agreed to. But she's like, I thought, and she used to see me on emails, I thought this was supposed to be on an as-needed basis. Evil, oppressive spirit that she loves to fellowship with is on her. But yeah, I knew I was going to be leaving. So when we were in this meeting and the other people were complaining and this white girl gets to work from home, she was messaging me, how dare they say this? But they were well in their rights to complain when they didn't have to, you didn't have to have a job accommodation request. They complained about me too, but I had one. And the antagonistic coworker turned interim supervisor even was like, well, Jacob has job accommodations and we just have an understanding. If y'all want to have an understanding, that's how they roll. But I'm not in that. I am at home, doing me, getting paid the same, to-do list, and appreciate it, baby. Appreciate it. No one is intimidated by my skill set. No one is antagonized when I suggest things from an epidemiological standpoint. No one feels small when I use big vocabulary words. No one. Just insecure people. That's the kind of people I was working with. Very insecure people. So I say all this to say, chronic stress can literally kill you. Not a hyperbole, not exaggeration, none of that. It can literally change the shape of your heart to where it's not pumping out enough blood. And then you die. And you may be like, that's dramatic. But that is true story. That is my story. That is my testimony. And thank God I had a heart attack in an ambulance. No one would have believed it until they took the troponin or something, if they would have did it, because they, this young girl, how hospital systems are towards Black women anyways. I wouldn't have known. I would have thought I fainted because I was fasting, maybe. I had planned on coming back before I had the thought, and thank God, thank you, Holy Spirit, for that thought to contact my PCP office. I literally was just going to come home, go to sleep. Like, I thought about instead of going across the street, I was going to go home, go to sleep. Who cares if you can't breathe if you're sleeping? I had tapped my albuterol inhaler so many times. It was going to happen. Like, if you ever had albuterol before, it makes you jumpy and shake. That's the beta antagonistic part of it. And so that's what it was doing to my heart. And then my heart was already overworked because it couldn't pump out enough blood. So it was just a compound whammy. But the Takotsubo, the out of shape, the not able to push enough blood out, that was stress. The beta antagonist that caused a heart attack was my albuterol inhaler. But it never would have happened had my heart not been misshapen because of stress.